Hello everybody, today is August 14th, 2014. I'm Jared Gold and this is your tropical update. Let's take a look at the Atlantic water vapor loop here. You can see it's pretty dry all across the basin. We do have one African wave out here with some nice convection. However, I don't expect that to develop much because of all this dry air in the region, and it's pretty sheared out there. And we're in a slightly convectively suppressed phase of the convectively coupled atmospheric Kelvin waves, which for the rest of this video we will abbreviate CCKW. Now if you look out in the East Pacific here, you can see a lot of deep convection, and that is as a result of a convectively active phase of the CCKW out there. Let's take a look at the African satellite. Here's the wave I was just pointing out to you. Another slightly more impressive wave on its heels. I don't see this one developing much either. Same reasons, the sheer dry air and the fact that we are in the convectively suppressed phase of the CCKW. Now if you look out here in Central Africa, this is really a piece of convection to keep your eye on, because as this shoots east, by the time it gets out over the Atlantic, conditions will be a lot more favorable for development of tropical cyclones, and I'm going to show you why. Here is the sea surface temperature anomaly map. Now you can see there is an area of anomalously warm water from parts of the northeast coast up into the Canadian Maritimes. That's going to focus upward motion there, and in response to that, downward motion and colder water is going to develop in here as we progress forward through the next week. Now in response to that, warmer waters will develop down here, and you have our classic warm, cold, warm sandwich that we see in the Atlantic. And now this is this piece here of warmer water is particularly important because the dry air outbreaks that we've had the past 2 years that have really killed all development of cyclones come from the northeast up in here, from the Saharan desert, hence why they're called the Saharan air layer. And this water is obviously warm, so it'll rise, and since it's water, it's obviously moist. So once this dry air comes out off the coast, this warm moist water rising into it will help mitigate the dry air outbreaks a little bit, which will help African waves get better organized in the main development region. Another feature I want to point out down here, these little pockets of colder water, that focuses downward motion there, which forms a high pressure system, which focuses convergence in parts of Africa, which helps strengthen and develop these waves of convection that move off the coast. Now yes, there is this area of somewhat colder water there, but if you look out west in the main development region, or MDR, that the waters are pretty much up to par for this time of year, and they might even warm a little bit as we move forward. Now let's talk about the MJO, or Madden-Julian oscillation, and that is a measure of convection in parts of the Indian Ocean. So right now we are in a phase 2 MJO, which helps strengthen the convectively active CCKWs, which one is right in the Eastern Pacific now, and they all propagate eastward. So that means that we could have a strong convectively active CCKW moving into the Atlantic for late August. I'm going to show you here. Here's the CCKW now, and you can see that it's responsible for the convection out in the Eastern Pacific, maybe even over parts of South America as well. And then you can see these warmer colors are the convectively suppressed areas, and you can see not much going on in there. and this wave, this convection in there, should be cooled pretty soon because of how much sinking air it has to deal with. So you can see in here, if I could find the mouse, you can see the main development region is dealing with a bit of sinking air now, but that wave over the Pacific will strengthen as a result of the Phase 2 MJO, and it will move into the main development region, as you can see here modeled for the August 19th and beyond time frame. So that reduces shear and it provides upward motion, and that's what you need for tropical cyclone development. So I'm thinking that this area in red, there will be favorable conditions for tropical development really from August 19th to mid-September. However, a couple of concerns I have about that. There is the possibility that a strong convectively suppressed CCKW develops after we go through the strong convectively active CCKW. And then there's also concern that the tropical upper tropospheric trough, which is an upper level disturbance that'll move through the main development region, will increase shear, hence limiting the development threat. Now, another concern of mine, if we do get a storm to develop out there, and it progresses up in here, and we have this troughing pattern set up like we've seen time and time again because of the persistent western ridge, that a trough could pick up one of these storms and either steer it into parts of Massachusetts and we have a landfall situation there, or if we get a strong negatively tilted trough, that it's another Sandy-like storm. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's unlikely that it's going to happen, and we could have the western ridge break down and we have a zonal flow and the storm is kicked harmlessly out to sea. But we do have to keep the potential in mind that really from late August on, we really have to keep our eye on the tropics, really along the whole east coast, especially after Arthur that we saw in early July. Not saying it's going to happen, but the chance is there and we definitely have to watch it. Thank you for watching this tropical update. If you have any questions, you can shoot me a tweet. I'm at Jarrett Gold on Twitter, or you could send me an email, forecasterjarrettgold@gmail.com. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.